Hey guys, it's Shadow here, and welcome to the first official video of not only the retro gaming era of this channel, but also 2024. Welcome to my top 10 video games of all time list. Now, before we get started, let me give a quick disclaimer here. This is my list, my opinion. Your list might be different from mine, and that is perfectly fine. We can all be friends here. This is just my list. Now, there is only one rule in this list, and I will be picking one game from any particular series or franchise, unless there are multiple from one specific series or franchise that I like just as much. Okay, let's begin. At number 10, we have 007 Nightfire. Nightfire was developed and released in 2002 by EA and is still one of the best James Bond games ever made. Has a very good story mode with excellent level design and a very addictive 4-player split screen mode that is just as close to GoldenEye as you can get. I can remember so many times, especially during football season, where I would go and play this game while the halftime show was going on and play the level The Exchange to kill time before halftime was over. I still do that today from time to time. I also remember playing 2-player split screen with my brother a lot back in the day. He and I still play this game from time to time nowadays, and it is just as good now as it was back in 2002. At number 9, we have Star Wars The Clone Wars for the original Xbox. So a little backstory on this one. My dad bought an original Xbox back in 2004, and this game came bundled with it alongside Tetris Worlds, which both are available to play online on the Insignia service, link in the description below. I played the absolute mess out of this game back in the day. Not only the single player, but I also played the mess out of the multiplayer mode with my brother. The vehicular combat was very different from what I was used to with Star Wars games at the time, mainly Shadows of the Empire. I have completed this game multiple times over the years, and I wish I could go back and experience it for the first time again. At number 8, we have LEGO Star Wars the video game and LEGO Star Wars 2 the original trilogy. Now here's where I'm using that exception I mentioned at the beginning of the video, because honestly, you can't have LEGO Star Wars 1 in the list without LEGO Star Wars 2 as well. I vaguely remember getting these games years and years ago. I played these games not only with my brother, but also my dad. We played these games so much that I'm surprised our original copies still work. We 100%ed both games multiple times over the years as well. The characters, the humor, the levels, all were just fantastic. Now, I know the Skywalker Saga came out a few years ago. I just have not had the time to get around to that one, but I'm hoping when I do wind up playing it that it plays just as good, if not better, than the original games did. At number 7, we have The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Electronic Arts, how I miss you being this good. This was when EA was at their peak. You had not only the excellent sports games that they had out at the time, but you also had the Bond games and the Lord of the Rings games. This game was not based solely off of the Two Towers movie, but in fact it starts off on the slopes of Mount Doom from the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring. It is a 3D hack and slash game that is one of the greatest to ever be made. And I cannot tell you how many hours I have spent playing the Gates of Moria, Balin's Tomb, Amon Hen, Fangorn Forest, and all the Helm's Deep levels over and over and over again over the years. I loved this game as a kid, and I absolutely love it now as an adult. So much so that I played through and beat the game 100% just last year. At number 6, we have Sonic Mega Collection on the GameCube. Now this one is a weird choice since it's a compilation of Sonic's Genesis games. However, this game has a lot of nostalgia from not only playing the games over the years, but also the extras they included on the disc, mainly the history menu. The music from that menu mixed with the content that was available in that menu is a massive nostalgia trip for me. Even today, the music in the history menu chokes me up because when you think about it, the music sounds like you're reminiscing on awesome memories gone by, or remembering your younger self and how fun and carefree being a kid really was. Please hold on to your childhoods, kids. Please. Alright, at number 5, we have Kirby Air Ride. Now, I know this may confuse some, but let me explain. My brother and I played this game for hundreds upon hundreds of hours when we were kids, and the time played was well worth it. City Trial is easily one of the greatest modes ever conceived in a racing game. You go around collecting power-ups for your vehicles while looking for better vehicles to use, all while a timer runs down. When said timer hits 0, you will head to a status screen which shows how many of each power-up you got, along with your opponent's choice of vehicle and number of power-ups as well. Then it's competition time. There are many competitions to choose from, ranging from drag race, flying events such as target flight and high jump, a single lap race on one of the game's 9 tracks, or even a showdown with King Dedede himself. I still play this game to this day, and at this point the only reason to play it is for City Trial. It's so worth it. At number 4, we have GoldenEye 007 for the Nintendo 64. Need I say more? Of course, I'm going to tell you guys why I absolutely love this game. Now, this game is legendary, not only for the levels and weapons, but the music. That soundtrack will stand the test of time, and it'll always be one of, if not the best soundtrack of the Nintendo 64's library. If you have never played GoldenEye, please do yourself a favor and go play it. It is available on the Switch as a part of Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pack. It is on Xbox Game Pass / Rare Replay. You can emulate it with mouse and keyboard controls, or you can go out, buy a Nintendo 64 with the game, and you can play it on original hardware. There are plenty of ways to play this legendary game, and it is worth every single second you put into it. At number 3, we have Star Wars Battlefront and Star Wars Battlefront 2. There I go using that exception again. Talk about another 2 games that I have played for hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours. I remember the first time I heard about the original Battlefront was from the Star Wars bonus material disc that came with I think it was the 2004 DVD release of the original trilogy. Remember that box set? Anyways, I watched the trailer and played the secret Xbox demo for the game, and I knew I needed to get it. I can vividly remember the first time I saw the case on store shelves. We were in a Circuit City, I believe in late 2004. I remember we went to the back of the store where all the DVDs and games were, and I saw the cover of the game behind glass, and I knew when I saw that cover, I needed to get the game. I got it for Christmas that year, and I loved every single second of it. Now for Battlefront 2, this game is legendary. It has more hours played by me and my brother than most of the games we owned at the time. It just captivated us. The cheats, the maps, Mos Eisley Assault, if you know, you know. Battlefront 2 was incredible, as well as the first. Everyone should play this game if they have the chance. Both games are available on Steam, they both have gamepad support, and even have online multiplayer. If you have an original Xbox, you can also play both games through Insignia. Again, link in the description. At number 2, we have Super Mario 64. I was going to put Sonic Adventure 2 here, given my extensive history with the game, but I have so much more nostalgia with this game, as it was my very first 3D video game and my very first Mario game. Oh, what can be said about this game that hasn't already been said a million times? It is easily the best 3D Mario game to date, and in my opinion, the best Mario game ever made. I know that is a controversial hot take, but hey, it's my opinion. This game holds a very special place in my heart, and it will never be replaced. This game sparked so many weird thoughts in my head as a kid, like the every copy of Super Mario 64 is personalized joke that keeps making the rounds to this day. As a kid, this game fascinated me. Everything from the environments, to the character designs, to the castle itself. Many dreams were made as a kid pertaining to the castle. Some even combine the castle with some elements from Army Men Sarge's Heroes, which is still strange to this day. This game has kept a spot on my shelf for decades and will always be one of my most nostalgic games of all time, as well as obviously my number 2 favorite game of all time. Now, what would a top 10 list be without some honorable mentions? Sonic Adventure 2. From the trial on Dreamcast, to Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube, to the speedruns I do on the PC, this game also holds a special place in my heart. WCW NWO Revenge, one of the greatest wrestling games ever made, and the only one that I had growing up. Many battle royals were had in that game, too many that I lost, but also plenty that I won as well. Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2. My best friend introduced me to this game back in 2013, and while I didn't know much about Dragon Ball at the time, it easily became one of my favorite fighting games of all time and sparked my interest in anime. SSX Tricky. I remember picking this game up on a whim in the mid-2000s and falling in love with it pretty much instantly. The only snowboarding game I had any experience with up to that point was 1080 on Nintendo 64, and this game opened my eyes to what good snowboarding games look like. Tales of Xillia. My first RPG on the PlayStation 3, and I will never forget it. I bought a PS3 Slim back in 2015 for Black Friday, and this game was one of the first games I picked up for it. The story, characters, and world were just all amazing, and I still play it from time to time to this day. Dang, are we to number one already? All right. My number one game of all time is Phantasy Star Online for the Sega Dreamcast. If you guys have seen my Dreamcast 20th anniversary video, you guys know I played the absolute mess out of PSO back in the day. When I first played this, I had never played an action RPG before. I had no idea what I was doing. When I played this as a kid, I said something stupid that became a joke for me and my brother for a while. I went down to Forest 1 after you talked to the principal at the start of the game, and since I didn't know what I was doing, I died to a Booma right off the bat. I respawned at the health center, looked at my brother, and said, "Hey, that Booma stole my money." And I would go back down there, try to kill him with my fists, and subsequently die again. When I was that age, when I died, I would create a completely new character. I don't know why, but I did. The memories that I have with this game outside of that time, though, still resonate with me to this day. This game will never die, in my opinion. It's too timeless to let die. I still play the Dreamcast version online on the Silverant server with my original Dreamcast and broadband adapter. I even have the Xbox and GameCube versions of the game to play online. Everything from the combat to the enemies to the environments to especially the timeless music is why Phantasy Star Online is my favorite game of all time. Now we're going to open it up to discussion in the comments. Let me know what your top 10 games of all time are. And if you can't think of a top 10, top 5 is fine. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed putting it together. This is pretty much the only scripted video that I've ever done, and I tried my best to try and keep it flowing naturally while not sounding like I'm reading it off the script, which is not an easy thing, especially for me, but I hope I did a good enough job to not make it, look like or make it seem like I was reading it off of a script. But anyways, as always, I will see you guys next time.